Hello and welcome to this Warcraft replay. This is going to be a best of 3 once again from the WCA 2015 Group A of the Chinese Qualifiers. Yes, why am I on player's perspective? I don't know, but we are going to have an undead mirror. Surprisingly, we have a fair amount of all the races are, fairly numbered. I believe last year the only race that was, lacking was Orc, which we only had one. Obviously human had the most. I think Night Elf was the second most, numbered, and then Undead is third. So yeah, haven't done the introduction video just yet. Gotta get these out quick before semester starts again, and then I'll be too busy to do these too regularly. Actually, the best of 8 started, I think, yesterday, which, kinda tells me I better hurry up. So, yep, into this game we have Tara521, otherwise known as Tara. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if he has another name. I don't remember. I do remember calling him Tara a lot. Yep, he was a rookie, or at least somewhat of a rookie last year in WCA 2014, and he has shown to be a fairly, decent player. Didn't really get bullied around by the big names all too much. So yeah, let's see what he'll go for. He is going for a Death Knight first, Graveyard after the Tomb of Relics, so pretty standard Crypt Fiend start for him. Meanwhile, we have DHC's Shun. We actually have not heard the clan DHC for a while on this channel, at least. Even though we had like their former members as Tho and Yumiko as well. There might have been others, but those are the two distinct ones that I remember. He's gonna go for a Crypt Fiend first. He's gone 2 ghouls. He went for a Graveyard first, which, explains the very first Crypt Fiend here. No Tomb of Relics. We do have Tomb of Relics. No nothing. I don't know what I was gonna talk about. I guess I was gonna talk about that in Ziggurat, but let's not. So we haven't had a Crypt Fiend rush in a while, so we'll have to see how different off the path Shun will have against Tar. I forgot to mention that once again, another player that I have never casted before. I will be, very looking forward to adding these players into my history, so I can refer to them again. I didn't actually watch any of Shun's replays whatsoever, not even going to Crota, so I don't know his tendencies, but then again, last series pretty much proved it that it didn't matter if I knew anyway, because I would get it wrong regardless. So yep, both players not really doing anything too wacky, as to be expected. Level 2 will be attained for both of the Death Knights. Shun will have his a little later, but I guess that's just the plus of having an additional Crypt Fiend out. Yeah, I'm not too convinced on the Crypt Fiend rush. It doesn't. I don't know if it really gives you an edge. Maybe it does with the creeping and all that. Tome of Experience actually going to be picked up by Shun. I believe that was the Tome of Experience, which it will be. So yeah, for the Death Knight that was slightly behind, he will actually jump right ahead to the lead. Level 3 has been gained for Shun's Death Knight. That is, I'm gonna say it's not really a factor here, because Tara should Actually, he gets his own type of experience. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say he should reach level 3 regardless of the Tomb of Experience, but he still picked it up. His Death Knight actually took quite a bit of damage. I'm surprised his Skeletons hasn't really tanked all that well. Although he only has one skeleton, so that might be the explanation there. So, Halls of the Dead has been completed for Tara. Shun still has a couple of seconds until that is completed. I think it's just, you know, blame the third ghoul there. I think he just had, you know, not as much lumber as Tara did early on, so his tier 2 was delayed a little bit, and that is, I guess, one of the factors in having an edge in an undead mirror. Of course, it's also, there's other factors like, you know, what items will be given to your Lich, how well your Death Knight control is and all that, and of course what your third hero is going to be. It could either be, you know, the Dark Ranger to maybe counteract your opponent's Death Knight, or it could just be the Naga Sea Witch and just burn too much that the Death Knight can't heal, you know, as much. So here we go, we have 4 Crypt Fiends versus 4 Crypt Fiends and a Death Knight versus a Death Knight. It does seem like Tara's at the disadvantage here, as his units are actually taking quite a fair amount of damage. They're actually focusing a lot on Shun's skeletons here. Most likely because they're just easy pickings that, you know, try to maximize as much experience as you can gain. Because, like, dealing damage to Crypt Fiends is almost pointless because they can just be healed up. But, you know, Shun has no skeletons to target himself, so he's got no other choice. Tier 3 for both players. Lich is already out for Shun, so there's that. There are subtle differences in these two players, you know, events, but I guess it will equalize eventually. I think Shun might be at the advantage here. Of course, he is lacking a slaughterhouse, you know, until, you know, maybe a couple of seconds later, but he is gonna get the valuable experience on that Lich, and that is going to be very useful, especially during the time where Tara doesn't actually have access to his own Lich. We have an obsidian statue out for Tara, but that's pretty much it. It's a long-term sustaining unit. It doesn't really do that much, you know, in the midst of a fight. Unless it's a very long fight, then maybe it'll do well, but yeah, not wanting to go toe to toe with Shun just yet. The Lich will be out for Tara. It's a different approach here. The Death Knight is also soaking the experience, so not as much experience is going to go into that Lich. Meanwhile, Shun is actually focusing on, you know, farming up that Lich. He's already level 2. He will get approximately 50% there to level 3 as well, unless he is going to get interrupted. Well, he's pretty much 50%, or I guess, yeah, I'll just say 50% there anyway. He has the Lion Horn of the Stormwind, so he does have Devotion Aura. Not sure how useful that is going to be, unless he actually values getting, you know, that much of an edge, no matter how small it is or whatever. We're gonna have a Dark Ranger coming out for Shun, and we have a Dark Ranger coming out for Tara. I got that mixed around, the names mixed around, but either way, both were correct. Both players did indeed get themselves their own Dark Ranger. Scroll of the Beast will be used by Shun, so because he used that item, he would like to look for a fight here. Even though Tara is running away, Shun will obviously try his best to, you know, keep chase. Nice deathcore to save that Crypt Fiend. We did have a silence being tossed over at Shun's army, but I think it's his time to... Actually, no, it's not his turn to silence because he picked black arrows. That might be a bit of a blunder on his part. Maybe he was too focused on farming that he didn't consider that a fight would break out. Shun does need to, you know, be wary of that destroy. He's actually going to get his own destroyer up, but I mean, Tara's destroyer dealt so much damage. Tara's actually going to back off as his Death Knight was focused down, and yeah, like that happens so many times, and honestly, like very recently, every time I say, oh look, this player's looking like he's winning the fight, and then like his own hero gets focused down, forced to retreat, and that's what happened. I honestly thought Tara looked like he was in a good position, but I think that was, you know, one of those times where I was wrong. A lot of his units were actually pretty low, so yeah. Shun picking up a Cloak of Flames. I'm not sure how useful that is going to be. We shall see. Tome of Intelligence has been stolen away to Tara. I'm not sure how useful this Cloak of Flames is going to be, honestly. It's not as much damage. Death Knight, I can't imagine it being that useful compared to the selling price. We'll see. I mean, he's skipped the Devotion Aura, so yeah, we'll have to see what he thinks about that. Tara does seem to have a fairly good set of items. I mean, it's pretty much similar to Shun's, except he has an additional Circlet and Gloves of Haste. But Tara has an Ankh of Reincarnation, and we haven't seen this item in quite some time, but it's basically you just come back to life with 500 health. The kill doesn't actually count, so I don't think you gain any experience from that. Yeah, very good item there. Of course, it doesn't really matter if you get caught out with it, because, you know, it's only going to delay the inevitable unless you react fast enough. We are going to have a fight here. Both players did trade one Crypt Fiend so far. The Dark Ranger looks to be focused down on Shun's part, but that's not going to happen. Level 3 actually being gained for Tara's Lich. Let's see what level 2 Frost Nova can do now that it's equalized, since Shun already has his own. The Lich is actually going to get focused down, but he does have a Potion of Invulnerability. Silence is being tossed by both onto the both Death Knights here, but Tara's is being focused down quite heavily. The Lich, obviously you would want to, you know, save that Ankh as much as possible, but Tara does seem to be losing here despite having quite a number of destroyers up. Tara, he's gonna sack his Lich, and he is gonna have that revive. Maybe I should have like kept eyes on one of Shun's heroes to see if any experience was gained, but I guess that's a time for a later date, because yeah, Tara chooses to back off. Upgrades 2-0 for Tara and 1-0 for Shun. He is going for 2-0, and Tara's going for 3-0. Upgrades are favoring Tara, obviously, but yeah, it's just how you use those units as well. Shun does seem to be, you know, using his units a lot more effectively. He's gonna get both of these Ogre Lord camps, which could swing this. It could be a double attribute item, it could be Claws of plus 12. That is a scary Lich. 30% attack speed increase. He has the Orb of Corruption, and he has plus 12 claws of attack. That's gonna sum up to plus 20, and of course, steroid with double Gloves of Haste. That is going to be a very hard-hitting Lich. Tara is going to look for a flank here. Shun's one of his destroyers, at least, is actually ensnared. We are gonna have Tara's own Lich taking quite a bit of damage. He does have the TP scroll on him though, so just in case for a little bit of burst, he will use it, which will happen right now. Crypt Fiend will actually get killed off before that TP scroll activates, and Shun once again is on the winning end of this. So far this game, that's pretty much been the the constant moral of the story. Shun just keeps forcing Tara to use TP scrolls, and I don't think Shun... Oh god, this is like a demonstration of how bad my memory is. I don't think Shun has actually been forced to use TP scroll himself. And I'm going to stand by that statement. I'm not sure if it's a good statement, but we shall see. 3-0 is already done for Tara. I imagine Shun is going 3-0 himself, but for now his 2-0 does seem to be sufficient. Of course, when it comes to sieging, then that's a different story, because like these two units are not really that good. Oh, I guess the destroyers are a little good, since they deal magic damage and deal more to... Actually, they don't deal more. What was I thinking? Not even the Ziggurats are heavy armored, so it doesn't really matter too much. We are going to have level 4 onto the Lich. Level 2 Death Ritual, or Dark Ritual, whichever one. Dark Death, same thing, honestly. Shun really close in killing off that Death Knight. That's a little bit of bad right there. And of course the Tomb of Relics is on the other side, so it's going to be difficult for that Death Knight to actually get a health pot at the same time. Lich on Tara's end also being bursted down, but since he is of course a unit other than the Death Knight, can be healed up. We actually have Curse being used, and Tara's gone for Banshees. A very interesting addition here to this comp, because it's kind of a double-edged sword. It's great to cast curses on, the Lich, who is very hard-hitting, the Crypt Fiends, who are just solid in themselves, but at the same time, curses can be just eaten up by those destroyers and, add fuel to the fire. So, very double-edged sword right there, and I don't think Tara will be able to put up much of a fight. 36 versus 61. This does seem to be pretty clear cut in this matchup here. Shun does seem to be fairly decisive in this game. Yep. I mean, he's had the advantage for a very long time, and he doesn't seem to be, foolish enough or clumsy enough to get rid of it. There we go, GG from Tara, and that is going to be game 1 of this best of 3. Yep. Gonna cast game 2 right now, and yeah, hopefully I can get a second series up today. So yeah, see you guys in game 2.